Welcome to HR Nightmares. If you like what you hear on HR Nightmares, make sure that you hit the subscribe button on YouTube and you listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, who we have here today. I'm
Hi.
Lisa Leath. I'm the Chief People Officer at Vanica, and this podcast is sponsored by Leath HR Group. Who are you?
Hey, Andy Almeida, President of Leath HR Group.
And our special guest, an NC Stater who's
Woohoo.
been around the Wilmington, North Carolina community for a long time.
Yes.
Alexis Hunter, and she's a recovering HR person, kind of, but her job still touches people and culture. And so I want to kind of explore with you today what your path was to get to the job that you're in right now.
Sure.
And then how you're making a difference in employees' world at the organization that you're currently in. So, tell us who you are, what's your job, how'd you get there?
Sure. So I'm Alexis Hunter. I'm the community liaison for Wilmington Health right now. I was born in Wilmington. I've lived here most of my life. Went away to go to NC State, go Pack. And then my husband and I lived in Atlanta for a few years while he was in grad school. But otherwise, we've been here. I love Wilmington. It's home, but I also love to see it grow. After we got back from Atlanta, I worked for 10 years in a small mental health company, small business owned and operated by the head therapist there.
Family business.
Family business.
Those are dangerous.
Those are very, very dangerous. But I started as essentially the practice manager there, and that morphed into a position after some restructuring at that organization to overseeing all of the human resource function as well as marketing, outreach, and general small business director duties, which, as we all know, can be all encompassing of everything. And so I had never been in an HR role before. But I ended up really enjoying it. It was fun. I mean, I felt like I was helping the people that I worked with, but there was a lot of learning curves because, it's all fun and games until you hear from a company with an acronym from the government, So thankfully, we have a lot of really talented HR professionals in our area. And so I was able to connect with people like Lisa, and then also through the Lower Cape Fear Human Resource Association, just to be able to lean on other people that were certified or that actually had a degree in human resources just for help. But I also did all of the marketing and outreach, which I really have a passion for. My major at NC State was in public relations. And so that really felt like something that was home for me. But before the pandemic, an opportunity came up at Wilmington Health for the first ever community liaison. And it was a bittersweet decision to leave an organization that I'd been at for 10 years, especially leaving a small organization. There was probably about 20 people there when I left, and going into a large healthcare organization with over 1,000 people. But my role at Wilmington Health is to connect people and resources from within our organization to people and resources outside of our organization is really the broad strokes of it. But I am able to lean on my background in HR because a lot of what I do is working with employers from our region and helping them and their employees navigate the healthcare system. But also, I am the person within our organization that gets to go out to the events and learn about opportunities for Wilmington Health to be a part of. And so I can also bring that back to employees and help folks that work for Wilmington Health become a part of things that are going on in the community. So I really enjoy doing that too. I see my focus as anyone who needs a connection, and sometimes that means our employees, sometimes that means people outside of our organization, our physicians. So it's a lot of fun. I do something different every day, and I really enjoy it.
Having a degree in public relations and or communications or marketing can actually be a pretty seamless transition to a career in HR because a lot of what we do, whether you're in recruiting or you're a generalist or even in comp and ben, so much of how you roll something out or how you tee things up for employees so that they understand it or buy into it or whatever is internal communications.
Absolutely.
So how'd you use your communication skills when you were having to be in charge of HR?
Well, it was actually really cool because I looked at it as I'm marketing the organization to our internal employees and to future employees. I mean, I really feel like at any organization, no matter the size of it, HR and marketing, they need to be in cahoots. Every post, every graphic, every ad, everything that you are marketing to your consumers is also marketing towards people that could potentially work for you. And, it's no secret. We're in an environment right now where every industry is lacking in staffing. We need more people to want to work for us, and people are going to go work for the company that they think aligns with their values and they think that the culture could be great. And so when I was doing both of the things, I could really, especially if in recruiting, use marketing skills to showcase a job description that really not only says, this is what you're going to do every day, these are your essential functions, but talk about the culture of the organization. What are you getting ready to get into? What do you expect in the office? I would imagine now that means, talking about flexibility, hybrid opportunities, remote opportunities, but for HR people and marketing people to use the skill sets that they have that they're both really great at, but come together and figure out how they can work together and merge those things, I think is really important for a successful organization.
I think we see this a lot. We do a lot of recruiting at Leath HR Group, and we really see how job descriptions are just a bulleted list of this is what you're going to be required to do. But these are perfect opportunities for these job postings. The way you post, the way you write them is a great place for culture to kind of shine through in a day in a life of what it's like to be an employee at Wilmington Health or wherever you're looking to hire. So
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I feel like even the one or the couple of times that I've just like done kind of a super non-professional video just recorded from a Zoom and then posted it to LinkedIn about like, I have 5 hot jobs I've got to fill right now. One's in Boston. Who likes Boston? If you like the snow, if you like the culture of Boston, if you like Irish bars, like whatever you can say about like appealing to a person that would like living in that location, working for that company, working for that type of leader, even talking about like, I've met this CEO. This is what he's like. You're going to love working for him if you love working for a guy that's super flexible and hands off. And so I guess like if you can just even make a video, especially on LinkedIn tends to get the most traction when you post a video.
Sure.
And then also if you can have everybody on your team do 5 words or more. This is my big tip that I give to everybody. 5 words or more on a LinkedIn post gets it kind of like in the algorithm or the robots like put it in front of more people. Sure. So,
it's not just likes. It's
like,
it's writing,
commenting for share. That doesn't do anything for me. Wow, I didn't know you're hiring. So I'm going to comment right now so people in my network can see it. Then it gets in front of more people. So it's kind of interesting. Little tip. Videos, 5 words or more. LinkedIn.
Yeah. And also as your organization is doing this, whether if you work for a big organization and a whole department does it, or if you work for a small organization and one person does all the social media, help your team out. Like, share your organization's posts and videos. And if the commenting is going to be what does it, do that. Like, it's amazing the things that I see on LinkedIn that I would have never followed, but because I follow you or Andy and you commented on it, it's going to show up in my feed. And you never know who's going to see it at the exact right time and then go take a deep dive on that organization's LinkedIn page to their website to, their glass door, whatever it is that they're going to go look at.
Go educate themselves.
But help your company out and share things, post things, be an advocate for your organization.
Totally. I learned something cool last night. So at Vanica, our people and culture team went through a process called Teamship with District C. So basically, it's a bunch of high school kids from across North Carolina that have like a teacher coach, and they solve a real business problem for a real business.
Oh, wow.
So it was us, it was Megacorp, Live Oak, IBM, and Dell.
Wow.
And we all had like 6 kids on our team solving a problem. And we said, hey, we'd like to get more direct hires because that's not a heavy lift. Right now, most of our hires come from passive candidates we source. And so they had some really good advice when it came to social media. They gave us some good advice on updating our website, but then also social media advice. And the one thing that I thought was really interesting, we'd been avoiding TikTok. And shout out to Gabby at Leath HR Group because she pushed us into TikTok and she's got a really hilarious thing going on. She's trying to get TikTok famous. So go check out the
I gotta
Leath
check
HR
her
Group
out.
TikTok. She's
Yeah.
adorable. But these kids were like, you need a TikTok because you can advertise. And so people get sucked into these videos, right? So even if you're like, hey, I'm Lisa, I'm a front-end developer. This is like a day in my life. I got to deal with this guy. And like, just even if you make it a little bit funny, but you just kind of do a 30-second reel on a day in the life at Vanica as a developer, they're like, people will watch it and you put a couple of advertising dollars on it. And dang, like probably the bang for the buck that we're going to get out of this. So watch out for the Vanica TikTok. But they also gave us some good advice on Instagram. And they said like, this is totally like a post-millennial thing, but they were like, your grid is messed up. And I was like,
Grid.
my grid? Like, so that's when you go to my profile and all the tile boxes.
Yeah.
It just looks like a mishmash like thing right now. And so I was like, well, what's your advice? Would you put like the fun community pictures on the grid, like on your story, on your what do you call it? Like your feed?
Yeah.
Or would you put them in your stories? And they said, no, you should put like your fun pics in your stories and then put your like branded posts with like the colors and the fonts are all coordinated. Even if it's fun picture, like throw it in a nice Canva template. That goes on your grid. So when I go to your grid,
Oh, that's what you see.
it looks pretty.
But the stories are gone soon. They like disappear.
Yeah, but you got to like have good stories every day.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Or recycle.
Or recycle.
Recycle your stories, keep your videos, post them later. Don't do live feeds.
Well, that's
It was kind of interesting.
yeah.
Like that's what
the look and feel is interesting to hear that they're after that. They're after that uniformity, that that kind of clean.
they cared. They said if I
that's
went to go research a job and like dig into their credibility on their website or their socials, like it's almost having a organized and pretty social media platform is
Wow.
it's like a piece of data for them when they go to
Oh,
educate
see, now I
themselves
have
on
to go look
credibility.
at our grid and other
Go look at the grid.
Because
We
I don't
gotta
know what
fix our grid.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Little
crazy.
tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
But good
and
for you
as a
for
marketing person,
asking-
too.
Yeah, good for you for asking young people who are going to be looking for jobs in the
Soon.
next 5 years.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I had everybody from a freshman to a senior on my team. Yeah, so they'll be the next interns, front-end developers. These people could have been UI, UX. I was like, why are we paying an outside company to redo our website right now? You guys could just come redo our website.
do you ever ask some of your fresh hires, like what made you decide
yeah.
to get the
Yeah,
job
all the
here?
time. We do
Okay.
surveys. Like we survey the crap out of these people. Like,
Yeah.
and it's all about. So we have a really high rate of acceptance, like offer to acceptance ratio at Vanica. I think we've only had like one person turn us down in the last 17 offers.
Oh my gosh.
And it's because we do a really good job like sourcing the right people and then giving them a great candidate experience so that we know by the time we get to the end of the interview process, like, is this going to be a professional match made in heaven? And most of the feedback is like that touch and like the extra mile that we go. And it's just something as simple as like, by the time they get their offer to the time they step through the door, we haven't just like given them radio silence for 2 weeks. It's like someone's touching base with them every day or every other day, just saying like, hey, we can't wait to see you. Here's one other thing that I want to like fill you in on. Hey, we're going to have a town hall on the Friday that you're here. Don't forget to put it on your calendar. Hey, just touching base.
Yeah.
Still excited. Hey, I coordinated a lunch with your manager on day one. So just somebody texting them. They felt like they got treated really nice, like up to the offer. And then from the offer to the day they came in, they felt like, oh, wow, they're ready for me. They're getting ready. They're excited.
That's awesome.
They haven't forgotten about me.
Yeah.
Which, like, I've been in that place before where you get a job offer and you're like, am I supposed to show up on the 30th? Like,
Right. What day?
I
what day
forget
do I
what we
start?
said.
I don't remember.
Is it 8? Is it like, do I come early? So anyway,
Yeah.
And being a recruiter, sometimes we see this. We see this with companies that we're working with, and there's this lull, and in that lull, it's my job to act as that third party to say it's okay, everything's great, we're on
Yeah.
track. Sorry they haven't, whatever it may be, but it's that constant touch, because if that goes away, candidate goes away.
Right. No,
They lose interest.
that's such a good thought, because there's a lot of opportunities out there right now, and if candidates feel like they're getting more attention from somebody else, they're just gonna
They'll go.
go.
we had
blame
a
'em.
director level candidate last year, like basically drop out after like giving a 3-week notice. And then the Friday before she was supposed to start Monday, she hadn't heard from anybody at that company and she gone.
She's done.
Yep. She was done.
She found somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, it's like $180,000 person. Just
oh my
like,
gosh. Just
bye-bye.
We also had somebody at another place actual start, and got there, no badge, no computer, desk was dirty.
Oh, the best was they were supposed to be a recruiter and they
And they
didn't
quit.
have a computer or a LinkedIn recruiter or like any of the tools that you need to just like when
Do
you're a
your job.
recruiter, you could get started right now.
right. You're just looking for people to work.
hey,
Yeah,
come
there you go.
Yeah, no tools. It's just so simple. But anyway.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see, like, if you don't have the recruiter that, is going to make sure all the things kind of fall into place leading up to the day, I can see how that gets lost in the shuffle. But then if you lose that one candidate that was going to be your unicorn,
Right.
you're back to square one. And
Sure
that's
are.
no good.
Nope.
Speaking of recruiting in a tough place, I mean, healthcare has been really tough. In the healthcare industry, are you finding it a little bit easier to find folks, or how's it going on the recruiting and retention front?
I think it ebbs and flows. We still at Wilmington Health have a lot of opportunities available. I think that in healthcare in general, there's always going to be nurses needed. There's always going to be techs needed, always CNAs. That's never going to go away. I think that, people wonder if the grass is greener on the other side of the street, and sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. But, for nurses, I mean, you know what to do. You know how to do the work, just like a software developer. You know how to do the work. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to fit in with that organization that you're working for. But as far as morale, I think it really depends on the people you work with every day. There's just so much to be said about a good attitude about it. There are, even within Wilmington Health, I mean, there are people who take the load of, I'm going to be the good attitude of the day in the office. I mean, I do that sometimes. Me? Can you believe it? Yes. People that I work with joke. We did for professional development, we did the Strengths Finder.
Yeah.
And
It's fun.
I know you can't believe it, but my number one strength is woo. Yes.
Gotcha.
So I walked down the hall and people were like, woo. We were at Healthcare Heroes, and my response to everything is woo. But at the same time, like, it makes people happy. Like, I can come in and I'm going to always have a glass half full. I know that there's problems, but I'm going to figure out how to either solve them or get around it, or at least have a positive outlook on it. And I think that's contagious. But I see that in a lot of different places. The person that's in your department or your team or in healthcare, in your clinic, wherever, that you can basically go to put a smile on your face. And if you're that person, please keep it up. I know that everybody has hard days, but I think that that's part of it, is that some of us just have to have a really good attitude, regardless of what's going on. But it's tough, and we're faced with short-staffed, short-tempered teams that, somebody calls out of work and you're doing the work for 2 people all by yourself, but patients are still going to come in the door. They still have to be seen. And in fact, was at my daughter's appointment at Wilmington Health not too long ago, and I had to go in for lab work before you go to your PCP, and it was taking a little bit longer than it probably should have. And they said, we're running a little behind. It's going to be a little bit longer. They gave me they told me when I sat down, they told me when I checked in that it would be. But the phlebotomist said somebody called out of work. So I'm doing this all by myself today. And I said, you're doing a great job. Like it took me 15 minutes later. Like, I don't want you to rush when you're sticking a needle into my arm.
Hey, we're all good.
Please take your time. It's totally
small
fine.
needle. Yeah.
And just hearing someone say, hey, you're doing a good job, like elevated them. They just needed to hear that. Be kind to people, no matter what your industry is, help them out with that.
Also, like, who tells the phlebotomist they're doing a good job? That woman has probably never heard that, so you definitely made her day.
Well, I hope so. But other people, it costs nothing to be kind. It hardly takes any
Correct.
time out of your day to be kind. And the ramifications are huge, especially if you work in an industry where people are considering, I'm going to call out of work today because I'm so stressed out at work. But anything I think that organizations can do to like just give a little bit, it like bringing in Chick-fil-A mini muffins goes a long way, like
Chick-fil-A
having
makes muffins?
the mini.
Oh, I was like,
not mini
okay, we're
muffins,
going to go check that.
mini nuggets or the biscuits,
The little
like the
mini
biscuits.
nuggets. Yeah.
Not
I've seen
mini
those.
muffins.
Sounds
I've
amazing.
been around my children too much who love mini muffins.
Little muffins.
Yes, but anything that you can do to boost morale, do it.
We talk a lot about this, both personally, professionally, and then we talk a lot about it at Vanica too. But it's sort of like, I think it's just the way the world is right now, and we just got through elections, and everything is so freaking contentious.
Yes.
That people are sort of like conditioned now to fill a vacuum of no information with rumors or stories that they want to tell themselves to make them feel better about their position or their power, like whatever. But one program that's pretty cool, and there's lots of free videos out there on YouTube, it's called reality-based thinking.
Okay.
And it's like a methodology to check yourself when you start to go down this vortex of negativity, like how to check yourself and kind of get back to a mindset where like, what can I control? What's within my control? What are the facts? Like, could what I'm telling myself, could any of that be untrue?
Sure.
And it's really powerful. And there's little clips out there. I wish I could think of her name right now, but just look up on YouTube, reality-based thinking. And then there's another program called reality-based leadership. And it's being able to coach people on reality-based thinking. But it's powerful. And then I also saw a really wonderful speaker. She's got a book out right now called Chasing the Bright Side. Her name's Jess Ekstrom. Go check her out too. But she started this company called Headbands for Heroes, and she makes headbands for kids with cancer. And she's in all kinds of stores. So if you see her headbands at Ulta, buy one. Because a lot of what she does is focused on just bringing a smile to kids who don't have a lot to look forward to. So just when you think, your life is crap, like think about there's a baby out there with cancer.
Yeah.
So let's try to like keep the chin up and start to like think about reality versus telling ourselves stories. But she was great. Reality-based thinking is great. Reality-based leadership is great. Let's stop telling ourselves stories and try to like spin it in a positive light. And what can we control?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to woo as often as I can.
What's your
as you can
second
imagine.
strength?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
What's your strength?
Communication is one of them.
Yeah,
That's
it's
one,
gotta
right?
be.
Yeah, that's one of the strengthts.
What's
Communication.
your strength? Did you ever do Strength Finder?
I don't think I ever did it.
Oh, I have the book at home.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating.
Mine will say I just shouldn't talk to people.
No, that's
Areas
you
on
should.
the right.
You should. Adaptability. That was one of my. I'm
Oh,
always
okay,
like,
that's a great one.
It's gonna be fine. Don't worry. And of course, I work with people that are strategic, and so they're like, no, there's these boxes that you have to check, and it has to be done. And I'm always like, oh, it's gonna be fine.
And
Don't
you're in
worry
a
about
Hope is a
it.
strategy.
You're in a highly regulated field too, or industry.
Yeah, no, I have to go with the flow. But I mean, I had the absolute pleasure of leading our team to do the medical tent for Ironman. And so Wilmington Health is the medical sponsor for Ironman, this, giant race that comes to North Carolina. It brings, I think they said that like 7,000 people
Oh,
came
wow.
to the area for these people who swim, bike, and run 70.3 miles.
No big
which,
deal.
good for them. I did not participate in Ironman, but Wilmington Health is the medical sponsor. And so that means we have to provide medical care to the athletes. And one of our pillars is our commitment to community. And so that's why we do this. And we also have a volunteer requirement that employees are expected to volunteer a certain number of hours.
Oh,
we
that's
have
awesome.
we have tons of opportunities. Like there's no shortage of volunteer opportunities in Wilmington. So it's pretty easy to find a place.
Sure.
And so we use Ironman as an opportunity for employees to volunteer. And this was our second year doing it. And so I'm like the cheerleader of like, let's get people signed up, volunteer. And we did trainings leading up to it, just so people could know where to park, what to do, what to expect, all that kind of logistical things. And at the beginning of the trainings, I said, if you can just go into this thinking, I'm going to have fun, you're going to have fun. Like,
Right.
that's all I'm asking of you.
Yeah.
When you show up, just say, I'm going to have fun doing this. And I promise you, it's going to be fun. And everybody had fun. Like, it's so cool to see. It's beautiful down on the river. The finish line was in the Live Oak Bank Pavilion at Riverfront Park.
It's awesome.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Thankfully, we didn't have any, like dire things that we had to treat.
I was wondering
because-
that, and I was like, should I ask?
Well,
That's
I
probably
mean,
not great.
people get like fluids and stuff after they run
Yeah.
races. And I work in healthcare, but I do not like to see, needles and things like that. So I have to stay out of that part. But people who were a little worrisome that it was just going to be, I can't believe I'm spending my Saturday doing this, they had fun. Like, we gave people the opportunity to walk around, do things. I was on snack duty and I was like, nobody's going to go hungry. We're going to have good snacks. We're going to have good
Nice.
things to drink. I want this to be a fun opportunity. And now people are already saying, what is the date for next year? I want to put it on
That's
the
cool.
calendar. People like it. And so find the person in your organization who has a little bit of woo in them. Maybe they're not on the HR team or the marketing team. I mean, maybe they're
Sometimes it's better if they're not.
sometimes it's better if they're not. Maybe they're in charge of customer service or whatever it is that they do, but encourage people who look at the world with a glass half full to be able to cheer on employees because it's really needed. Of course, we have to have our reality check sometimes. I know that I have to take off my rose-colored glasses sometimes. But I also think that you can really bring a lot to the culture of your organization by having a good attitude.
Yeah, and people are looking for that right now. We were
Yeah.
talking about the attraction and the retention, but the attraction. That's a big selling point.
Yeah.
Getting teams together and getting out there and volunteering in the community, that's a major checkbox for folks these days.
Yeah, sure. I could see that.
And you're right, this town's got a lot of opportunities.
It does. We have a ton of opportunities. They're awesome.
If you go to Cape Fear Collective, if you live in the Wilmington area, Cape Fear Collective, they've got the volunteer link there, right? Whether you're an
share-
individual or a group. Oh, Share Cape Fear.
Share Cape Fear.
Share
Share
Cape,
Cape
Fear.
Fear.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But no, there's tons of stuff. Like, get people in your organization to go and do something for 2 or 4 hours, and it's fun. And you do something to give back, and it's just an opportunity to feel good about it.
But you said sometimes it's best if it's not the HR person. So to bring the HR nightmare component into this, because that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
It's good to set guardrails for those type situations.
Sure.
It's good to say, hey, carpool, all go together. If you have anything to drink, make sure you got a safe ride. Get that plan in place ahead of time. I think that's important.
Yeah. And also, I would say, like, we started a volunteer team at Vanica Volunteers, and I helped get it kicked off. But then I was like, I need somebody else on this committee to volunteer to lead it because I'm going to step away.
Sure.
Because this needs to be like an employee-led initiative. And so every month we do a volunteer thing. It's very well attended. Everything from cleaning the beach to Habitat to packing lunches at Nourished, whatever, you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You're out there all the time. But it's fun and people enjoy it, and seeing the pictures on my ugly grid on Instagram. Like, I've had candidates be like, I like seeing that you guys are out in the communities
Sure.
where you live and you work, and you're doing good things and you're giving back, and you allow people just space away from work and the computer to go just do something else and build some camaraderie and build rapport with your teammates. So
Yeah.
it's good. It's important.
And if you as an organization have a lot of different types of things that you support or you sponsor, if you're involved with the chamber, like all of us are, there are going to be things that are open to really anybody on your team. If there's an event happening that you have 10 seats for, really look within your organization to see like who is going to be really, really excited about this opportunity. Some people hate it. They don't ever want to go out and be in public, but some people really, really like it. And so find ways to support groups in our community. There's all kinds of galas that you can dress up and be fancy for.
Yeah.
And they are great opportunities to give back, but also for, hey, we got this table for 10 at whatever thing. We would like to see who wants to go to it. The first 10 people that respond to this Microsoft form get the tickets, have a night on the town.
Those are your cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Those are the people out doing the marketing for you. Those are your best recruiters, right?
Right.
The people that are excited to work for Wilmington Health. And also, it shouldn't be the same people over and over again.
Right.
I see that. I'm sure we all see that all the time, right?
Yeah.
We go to an event and, I mean, we're a
The
very
same
small.
people are there.
We're a small group, right?
Yeah.
So we try to rotate a little bit, but yeah, the same people are always there, and so it's time to get out there and really like think critically about who you are inviting to these things, to really show the community and your peers.
Yeah.
There's more than just these 5 key people.
Right.
Inviting people to, like, for instance, the women's development lunch at
Yes.
the chamber. If you're already a chamber member, it doesn't matter. You're a small business, you're a mid-sized business, you're a large business, you're probably a chamber member in whatever community you live and do work. So, like, it's a rewards opportunity.
Yes.
So somebody who may be kind of like an accounting specialist that never gets an invite to freaking anything.
Right.
Like, wow, do they feel special? And it's a psychological thing too. When
Yeah.
somebody comes up and says, hey, I heard you work for Wilmington Health. Now tell me about Wilmington Health. What's going on over there? I see you built some new buildings recently. Like,
Right.
and that accounting specialist is going to get to talk about Wilmington Health and feel good about and have pride in their sense of workplace.
Sure.
So it's just a win-win. You got to
Yeah.
bring people that don't normally get out of the
And their
office.
productivity will come up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Calculate.
I think it's cool too because, like, for example, we are supporters of Wilma for the Women to Watch initiatives, and so there was a luncheon not too long ago that we had a table for 10, and we opened it up, and who wanted to come in, and there was ladies that had never even heard of the event.
Nice.
They're new to Wilmington. They're new to Wilmington Health, and they hadn't had an opportunity. And they got to get away from their clinic for 2 or 3 hours, go to the leadership sessions, the things that are the little breakout sessions, and then the keynote. And they're hearing from people in different industries and getting out of the bubble that you work in every day is, I think, really, really incredible because you then can hear, like, people in healthcare sometimes need to hear somebody from banking speak or from software
Yes.
development speak. How did your team get through this? There's a problem that we're going through, and it's kind of like that. And listen to the way that other people have done things in different organizations, because just because you work in banking doesn't mean that the way that bankers do it is the only way to solve a problem. So I think it's great to take advantage of opportunities where we can learn and grow every chance we get.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the best way to bring those new ideas to your organization, to disrupt yourself.
Yeah.
Is to get people from not the standard cookie cutter background that you usually look for.
Right.
We always do some audience write-ins with our guests. So are you ready to have some fun?
Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what they wrote in.
Oh man! Well, this is fun. We've got 2 people that
Andy's
are
putting on
outside.
sunglasses.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want anyone to see his eyes shift. He got a sneak preview of one of these. Okay, well, this is like your standard HR sort of like frontline supervisor 101 type thing.
Okay.
Okay, somebody actually wrote in from Pennsylvania and they said, security guards work in a very small booth. One female guard has extreme odor. Coworkers are unable to stay in the booth with her and are nauseous. We managed the conversation with her as best as possible, so I guess they must have talked to her. She explained it as a medical condition. She's humbled and embarrassed. I wonder if those were her words. She said she's unable to change the smell. We have nowhere else to place her.
Oh, God.
Do you have any suggestions to resolve this matter with a bit of grace and decorum for both the employee and her colleagues? Well, what do y'all think?
Well, from a non-HR, but a medical perspective, I would like to really see if she's talked to a medical professional about that, because
She can't change it? That seems like something you might be able to.
Change.
or help.
Help.
Hopefully, a lot of these security companies are like contractors and stuff. I wonder if they have health
Well-
insurance.
Oh, that's true.
But there's community clinics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this person needs to see a doctor.
This person needs to see a doctor.
This is a maintenance thing. They should do a recirculating air in that small confined space.
First of all, why are there multiple people in this booth?
If it's a small, like, what kind of security thing are they, like, opening a
security is
gate?
going to get done when there's multiple people.
Right.
in
I
this
think
booth.
one person, I don't know.
Let's put a person in a booth at a time.
one person in a booth at a time.
Yeah.
Get this woman some information about a doctor.
If it's that nauseating for the people around her, then in this day and age, I mean, we just went through a pandemic. Like, I mean, think about we need to really reevaluate the staffing model. Does there
Right.
need to be multiple people in this little tiny booth? Can we do something with the air circulation? I said that jokingly, but I mean,
Could be
You
a actual
could.
problem.
I mean, this
Yeah.
could be a bigger problem than just this write-in.
Right, because I mean, let's be honest, maybe this woman consistently smells, but there's going to be times when, somebody had Indian food for lunch and, they're going to smell. So, I mean, this is a problem I think that hopefully she can find some resolve for. I feel like I always get like ads for that type of new deodorant that you can put anywhere on your body and it's supposed to help. And so maybe between her doctor.
What's it called? And then it will start popping up on all of our Instagram feeds.
It's like Luma or something.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
So I would recommend that. No,
they should look into it.
they should look into it, but then also let's not have so many people in that place. You're right.
Find out what the medical resources are this person has access to, direct them to those resources. If there's nothing wrong with the ventilation, let's say the ventilation is great. She doesn't take any action to go get some help and get this physical issue fixed.
Then she needs to be reassigned.
They don't have
They
anywhere
said
else
they don't
to
have
put
anywhere
her.
else to put her.
Well, then I think it's a business decision. Like if it's an issue for multiple people and it's noticeable and like it's a physical symptom that you've identified, you discuss with her, then I think
So you let her go for a medical condition?
it might not be a medical condition. We
Okay.
don't know.
I don't know.
that's where you're going to get.
Well, that's where
some
it's going to
medical
get crazy.
guidance.
That's where you're going to call an employment lawyer. If she comes back and says, I have this medical condition, and no kidding, there's nothing that can be done about it. And you have nowhere to reassign her to, then
But as an employer, you can ask her to go and get a second opinion about that.
yeah,
And
that's true.
And find out, like, get a medical.
You could send her to your company doctor. You could pick a doctor and
Yes.
send her to that doctor.
Yes.
You could pay for her to go,
Yes.
which it might not be a bad idea for $150 or whatever.
Right.
Just pay.
Just pay. $150 for a doctor's visit is going to be a lot cheaper than a lawsuit for something else.
And a lot cheaper than the turnover
Yeah.
cost of everybody quitting that works around her.
Yeah. So throw everybody a bone and pay for her to go see a doctor.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what we.
All right.
We just solved that problem.
All right.
All right.
Solved.
Next one.
That one was weird.
Maybe this one won't be weird.
Yeah. I'm ready.
All right, let's see. Oh, I love this when people don't trust HR. Okay, from Raleigh.
Just outsource it.
We know somebody.
LeathHR.com.
Exactly. HR sent out a quote unquote anonymous survey in a Word file by email, and we should have replied back with filled in blanks. This is from an employee's perspective, I guess. We figured out it's not really anonymous, as who sent it would literally be written in from. So we filled the forms on the same machine, I guess it's a computer, and sent all of them in a single email. And HR was like, wait, you can't do that. I just meant I won't tell the bigger boss. Our entire team has no trust in our HR department now. Not sure how they will win it back. What would you all do differently? Oh, Lord. First of all, if you're saying it's an anonymous survey, it's got to be anonymous.
They don't understand what anonymous means.
Like
I think it's the first
SurveyMonkey is
problem.
free.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you
there are
can make it
programs.
There are programs that are
Make it-
specifically designed.
Okay, we solved that one.
Yeah. Don't send me your anonymous survey by email.
I mean, also, like, if you're that, I feel like that's an antiquated company, maybe. Like, print out the forms and have a shoebox that
you
people
go.
just put them in. Like, if you don't want to,
That would actually be better.
then it's super anonymous.
Yeah.
Also, there's things that like you can throw in like PowerPoint, like poll everywhere. And what's the other one? I had another one too that works just like poll everywhere.
There's
There's a
There's
lot.
so many.
dozen.
There's
Anonymous
a lot.
survey, Google it.
Yes.
Let's Google it right now. Okay, so we believe emailing anonymous survey results is not good.
So, and honestly, like, how do they recover from that? That was part of the question, right?
Because now they have
That's
to
tough.
get the trust back
That's tough.
from HR.
I can tell you that this happened once to me. I was part of a larger organization, and we got a survey. I didn't fill out the survey. I honestly forgot to do it, and got an email about 2 weeks later. Hey, you haven't filled out your survey yet. And it wasn't an automated response. It was an email from an individual, and I'm thinking,
That knew you
how
hadn't.
how anonymous is this?
Right.
If I'm getting a reminder email just to me, not an undisclosed recipient, it's no, it came to me. So yeah, that happened to a lot of folks, and it took a very long time to recover from. So the recovery piece is important to focus on here too.
Typeform is another anonymous survey tool.
Typeform.
Typeform and SurveyMonkey. But then it's like, what was the point of doing the survey?
Right.
What did you want to get out of it? Like, what did the HR person or the organization want to get out of that? Was it like feedback about safety? Was it feedback about how your managers are doing? Was it feedback about, do you feel comfortable reporting code of conduct violations? Or were they trying to get feedback on a specific manager? Like, you just wonder what was the context of why did they put out the survey in the first place? Or were they just doing it to check a box because they thought like climate surveys are a good thing to do and we
Right.
should do them, but I'm not really sure how to do them because I'm the owner's sister and I just got made the HR manager.
Right.
So
That's
good
kinda what
luck
it sounds
getting
like.
good results for your next survey
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
no one's going to answer.
Right.
Or they're going to answer
the way you want.
the way you want them to answer,
yes.
and you're not going to get any good constructive feedback.
Right. So the ship may have sailed. They may not get the trust back.
The ship.
The ship
Okay.
has sailed on finding trust in
No, it's true. Yeah, it's gone.
is gone.
So yeah, sorry. All right, is there another one?
We didn't really solve it, but it sucks to be her.
In this day and age, with all the technology, just find one of these programs, deploy it, be done with it.
Yeah.
Also, it sounds like at that organization, if you have any feedback, hopefully you can talk to your manager. And I would just not answer these surveys and just talk to your manager on a regular basis and give them little chunks of digestible pieces of feedback that they can act on and come with a solution. That'd be my recommendation.
Right.
Yes.
Don't fill out these word surveys anymore.
Yeah. And if you're working for an organization where, what did she say, the big wigs,
The big boss.
the big boss,
The big boss.
the big
It sounds like a
boss.
mafia.
I know, right? Like
Just mafia.
if you're working for an organization where you don't want the big boss to know that you said something that you thought was professionally appropriate to say on a survey,
Right.
then that's also something to consider. Like I would not really feel comfortable working for an organization that wants to know what I think about something, but I can't be transparent while professional.
I agree.
I mean,
That's not a great place to work, especially where there's lots of options.
right. There's lots of options. Like if you can't request time to speak with the big boss about, I think that whatever it is, climate, compensation, workforce, the time of day that we work, whatever it is, like maybe consider finding another place to work.
I'm with you. Any final words for our audience? How to avoid HR nightmare?
Get you a good HR person or consultant.
Exactly.
Train your HR teams, support your HR teams, support your people.
Yeah.
And keep a positive attitude.
Keep a positive
You
attitude.
never know what treating somebody nice today is going to do for their tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, and
Being-
it's free.
It's
Or
free.
you-
I
Your
love
tomorrow.
free stuff.
I know. Being nice is completely free. Do it. You're going to change somebody's day, and then they're going to be nice to somebody.
And communicate.
Yeah.
And the being nice makes it easier to communicate.
Absolutely.
And
Any
check out
final words?
WorkTok.
Yeah. Which just so happens to be an employee and supervisor check-in tool that Leath HR Group created. And it's super cheap and you get 30 days free. You should just try it because you'll get some good feedback from your employees. All right.
Awesome.
If
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thanks. We had to
Thank you.
reschedule like a million times.
That's
but
okay.
you came back.
That's okay.
So that's
I'm
cool.
happy to be here.
If you like HR Nightmares, please subscribe. Make sure you go check out WorkTok, the Leath HR Group employee check-in mobile app. It's on the Apple Store. It's on the Google Play Store. You get 30 free days. And leathhrgroup.com. This is Andy. Give them a call if you need a good HR consultant. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.